Hello, guys. My name is Cameron Willis, and I have my presentation on bringing American football to the country of Australia. Or just some brief background history about football itself. It originated from soccer and rugby, and therefore that's how the sport came about. The first American football game was played in 1829, and it was between two college teams. Since then, there's been 52 Super Bowls that have been played in the NFL on the world's biggest stage. And if you pay attention with football, you will know the Kansas City Chiefs have just won the Super Bowl. Just a breakdown of the sport itself. There are 11 players on offense, and there are 11 players on defense. The offensive job is to score touchdowns, and the defensive job is to stop the offense from scoring touchdowns. It's played on a 100-yard field inside a regulated football stadium. Now, my overall plan is to bring American football to the country of Australia. I want to persuade millions of Australians that football is an exciting sport and it should be embraced, loved, and played within their society. When it's all said and done, I want to be number one. I want to be the number one sport played and watched in Australia over cricket and rugby. My organization's mission statement is to unite and inspire people all over the world by delivering the world's most exciting sport and entertaining experience. I am committed to getting the best out of people through the sport of football. Many people may ask, why Australia? I say Australia because NFL games are already widely broadcasted in Australia. This is due to the very advanced technology and cable in their country. Therefore, many Australians are already familiar with the sport because they see it on TV, playoff game, regular season games, and preseason games. And also, rugby is another form of football. So many Australians are already familiar with the sport and the rules because rugby is kind of similar to football. And me, just bringing American football to this country could possibly change the sports culture and the market. So I'm up for the challenge. One of the main problems with this is that Australia is a relatively small market compared to other countries. Therefore, it may be a challenge trying to sell my product/service to Australians itself. As stated, two of the big main competitors are rugby and cricket. Rugby has been popular in this country for over hundreds of years. It's been the most watched sport since 2009, and just recently, in the playoff game, it brought in 128.5 million viewers. Cricket itself has been around for 210 years, and more than 2.3 million people attend games in the summer every single year. For my pest analysis, politically, they have strict deportation laws. So this may be tough for Americans coming into Australia, living there, trying to, bring football to their country. So we have to work something out regarding that. Economically, they are the 13th largest economy, and they rank first in the Asia Pacific region for labor, agriculture, and industrial productivity per person employed. So this means that many Australians are employed and have jobs. Socially, they're the smaller population compared to many other countries. There are nearly around 23 million people living in Australia, but compared to the U.S., they have 328 million. So this is a big gap, and this is a big difference that we have to overcome. Technology-wise, they are known for their advancements and innovations regarding technology. So they're very advanced technology-wise, and this is good for my business. But also, the government officials just passed a law regarding encryption, so this may be a problem for people's privacy. That many people in the public aren't happy with that's living in Australia currently. For the SWOT analysis, I figured out their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For strengths, they have a booming financial sector, and they contribute more than $140 billion to the GDP every year. However, for weakness, the cost of living in Australia is very high. It's been stated in an article that many people take out loans just to buy houses and to live there. And to add, they have a very flawed education system. Also, I read in the article that teachers and the education system isn't setting kids up for success because they're teaching kids about jobs that currently aren't really, big deals now, such as in the car industry. They're teaching kids about that, but that's not where their city is going currently, so they're not setting them up for success. It has to be changed. There are many opportunities in Australia, though. I will say this: online retail and technology services are 1 and 2 for the top 10 businesses in Australia currently. Two quotes that I pointed out that are that 80% of Australian internet users made online purchases last year. Also, 72% of Australian households have access to the internet. So this is good for my business, internet wise and technology wise, because mostly everybody that lives in the country has access to technology and is very resourceful, very useful. Just some threats, as stated, the fear of future technology and security in the country. As I've said, encryption has been a very big thing for the public lately because they feel like their privacy is going to get ruined. Encryption is basically where the government has access to documents, text messages, phone calls. So people feel like they just have no privacy now because of this, and this could affect their market growth. However, my three main goals that I want to accomplish is to have at least 10 sponsors by the end of the year 2021. Sponsors can help me out with everything. Also, to have an official football stadium built in Australia by the end of the year 2022. A football stadium takes about 18 months to 3 years to build, so this is a perfect time frame. And by the end of 2021, I expect us to have at least 5,000 followers on each social media platform. This includes Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. I want to be well known on all social media platforms because it can help me out in the long run. And by doing this, we're going to have 9 objectives. Just some key objectives I want to point out is I want to have information seminars in middle schools and high schools for those who have an interest in American football, because the youth is the future. And so if they see football growing up, they want to play it later in their career, later in the future. And as stated, I want to use social media influencers to spread the word on all platforms that football is coming to Australia. Social media is a powerful source nowadays in this generation. So once the word gets flowing on maybe Twitter and a simple retweet, everyone can see it. And on social media, we'll have prize giveaways to gain more followers on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also going to have ads placed all around the country, especially on highways, so people can know about football itself. So I have to be financially ready to invest in my organization 100% to carry all this out. To add, I want to be very active in the communities, and I want to serve in a multitude of neighborhoods with community service, because I want to let the community know that we care about them, and I want them to care about us. Last but not least, I'm going to have football clinics and workouts all over available for athletes so they can understand what football is about and get a feel for the game itself. For the 7 Ps, of course, my product is American football. It takes place in Australia, but the 3 cities I want to focus on most, well, to begin with, is Melbourne, Queensland, and Perth. These are 3 cities in Australia. And my reasoning for attacking these 3 cities first is because they have the most resources and land. So this can expand my business fast and get the brand out there quick. The average price for a ticket for American football ticket would be $120. Now, this is cheaper than a rugby ticket, average-wise, and an American football game, average-wise. So people living in Australia are getting the best of the deal because it's not too much, but also at the same time, it's not too little. Promotion-wise, as I've said, ads will be placed on highways, and I'll be very involved with social media to get my brand name out there. The people that will be involved is American football recruiters. I have them state to state all over Australia, spreading the word. And about this process, info sessions and trainings. We're going to have info sessions and trainings regarding football so everyone can know what we're about and how to play it, the rules, etc. Some risks and challenges that I may have to see and may have to overcome is the process of building a stadium. As I said, it takes 18 months to 3 years to build, and the infrastructure and the cost for it. The cost for the infrastructure is going to be in the millions, so I have to find a way to fund that money to pay for the stadium. Also, another challenge could be trying to convince Australians to cross over to the sport of football instead of being big fans of cricket and rugby. But I mean, they can still be fans of cricket and rugby, but I want football to be number one in their head and their country. So, when it's all said and done, this is a 3 to 5 year plan. I want to be in between the year 2023 and 2025 when it'll be all said and done and complete. I want to save up at least $50 million through funds, loans, and sponsors to build the stadium itself because the stadium isn't cheap. And I feel like this is a realistic plan. And I feel like with my organization, we can overcome it and bring American football to Australia. Thank you for your time.